Certainly, there are a number of stories out there today, yesterday, and the day before, negative stories about current and former professional athletes. So it's nice to be able to share a positive story regarding a former professional athlete that's doing great things for his community. That's Mike Glenn. He played 10 years in the NBA, 5 with the Knicks, 5 with the Hawks. And shortly after he retired, he started a one-of-a-kind basketball camp for young women, young men. It's for the hearing impaired as well as deaf young men and young women. Okay, so you're an author.
Yes, sir.
You're a motivational speaker.
Yes, sir.
You're a basketball analyst.
Yes.
And you find time somewhere in your busy schedule to run a one-of-a-kind camp that's really such a great idea. How'd you start this?
Well, thanks very much, Joe. It started with my dad. I grew up at Georgia School for the Deaf near the campus where my dad was the basketball coach. So I would go to my dad to these practices every day, and the girls just kind of start adopting me into their culture. They would teach me sign language and later how to play the game of basketball. So I grew up in this culture, learned to play basketball, learned sign language, and I would go to camps, Joe, in the summertime, but deaf kids could never go. So I decided in high school that one day I was going to start a basketball camp just for deaf kids, and I got the opportunity to do that as a member of the New York Knicks.
Excellent. So you started it in New York. It now is currently in Decatur, Georgia, which is not too far outside of Atlanta.
Yes.
You're getting kids from all over the country, though, to come to this camp.
Absolutely right. There are so many deaf kids that wanted to come, and I wanted to give them that opportunity, Joe, because they didn't have one. So I get letters and emails from kids all across the country. So they fly in, they take the train in, the bus in, and we pick them up and say, come on down. It's just one of the great weeks of my life and of their lives, too.
And what I like about it is it's free for the kids.
Yes.
And all the coaches involved volunteer their time. So really, this is about giving back here.
Oh, absolutely. It is how I grew up. It is who I am. So, yes, it's a reunion. It's fun, it's communication, it's people coming together, and it's basketball. So the coaches love it. They wouldn't miss it. Many of them take their vacation week so they can be sure to be there for this camp.
Now, I know you guys have been doing it a long time. This is going to be, what, your 34th summer?
That is correct. This is the 34th summer.
You getting a lot of the same kids coming back year in, year out?
Yes, and once they've graduated, they can't participate as a camp participant, but a lot of them volunteers, staff, and assistant coaches, and mostly we have high school kids, boys and girls, that participate in the camp.
And I understand that there was a movie made inspired by this basketball camp.
Absolutely, Joe. A couple of my coaches, Phil Molino from New Jersey, Pennsylvania School for the Deaf, he's coached at both of those, and Stuart Klugler out of Denver, they put up their own monies, and they decided we have to show this to the world. So they knew an award-winning producer named Darla Ray, who's a wonderful producer in Denver. They got to her to write the script and said, Darla, we've got to tell this story. So she came down, saw the camp, visited the school, and just wrote a great movie that I couldn't resist. It was not my idea. First, I was a little hesitant. A movie? But, Joe, it was so much fun participating.
You're in the movie, right?
I'm in the movie, right? Playing myself, which I think I can handle that part. And we had so much fun, and it was so much like the camp. I mean, it is a feature film, so it's not a documentary, but it is so much like the camp that I felt like we were just reenacting the camp all over again.
What's the biggest takeaway for these young men and women that get to participate in a camp like this?
Well, that they can overcome. You know, because I grew up in an era where there were a lot of impediments against them. They were deaf. They were hard of hearing. They didn't have an opportunity. So you can succeed. So the hearing and non-hearing world, they come together. They overcome prejudices and stereotypes, and they come together and play ball and reach their highest potential. So that's really the takeaway, Joe.
And for those interested in finding out more information about the camp, how can they do that?
Yeah, well, you can do that through my website, which is mikeglenn.com.
Okay.
And
sounds like great work he's doing there. And Joe and Mike, thanks for that, by the way. The website again, mikeglenn.com.